Introduction to JavaScript. JavaScript is a versatile programming language essential for web development. It allows developers to create interactive and dynamic web pages by controlling browser behavior. As one of the core technologies of the web, alongside HTSS, mastering JavaScript opens doors to building compelling web applications. This presentation covers fundamental JavaScript concepts such as variables, operators, conditional statements, loops, functions, and events. These building blocks form the basis of writing effective JavaScript code and understanding how web pages respond to user interactions. KD understanding variables and operators. Variables containers for storing data values declared using var, let, or const. Variables can hold numbers, strings, or other data types. Operators symbols that perform operations on variables and values includes arithmetic, comparison, and logical operators. Variables are like labeled boxes holding information, and operators manipulate or compare those values, enabling your program to make decisions and calculations. Conditional statements. If statement executes code when a specified condition is true. If else statement chooses between two blocks of code based on a condition. Else if statement checks multiple conditions sequentially for more complex decisions. Conditional statements guide the program's flow by making choices, allowing JavaScript to respond differently depending on the situation. Looping in JavaScript. For loop repeats a block of code a specified number of times, while loop repeats code as long as a condition remains true. Do while loop executes code once, then repeats while condition is true. Loops are powerful for automating repetitive tasks without manually writing the same code multiple times. Types of loops in JavaScript. 1 for loop, used when the number of iterations is known in advance. Includes initialization, condition checking, and increment-decrement in a single line. 2 while loop, used when the number of iterations is not known beforehand. Executes the block of code as long as the specified condition is true. Do while loop similar to the while loop but ensures that the block of code is executed at least once before the condition is tested. 4 for loop, used to iterate over iterable objects such as arrays, strings, maps, and sets. Provides a simple syntax for accessing values directly. Loop, used to iterate over the enumerable properties of an object. Useful for accessing keys in objects. Initialization, setting a starting point for the loop. Condition, a test that determines whether the loop should continue running. Iteration update, adjusting the control variable to progress through the loop. Termination, when the condition becomes false, the loop stops. Importance of looping, reduces code repetition. Increases efficiency in handling large data sets. Essential for tasks like data processing, UI rendering, and backend logic. Functions. Building reusable code blocks. What is a function? A reusable block of code designed to perform a specific task. Declaration and invocation functions are declared with the function keyword and executed by calling their name followed by parentheses. Functions help organize code, reduce repetition, and make programs easier to understand and maintain. Types of functions in JavaScript. 1. Named function, defined using the function keyword with a name. Can be called before or after its definition due to hoisting. 2. Anonymous function, a function without a name often assigned to a variable, not hoisted. 3. Arrow function, a shorter syntax introduced in ES6, does not have its own this, making it useful for callbacks. 4. Function expression, a function defined and stored in a variable. Similar to anonymous functions, but named function expressions are also possible. 5. Callback function. A function passed as an argument to another function, often used in asynchronous operations like event handling or API calls. Benefits of using functions: promotes code reuse and modularity, enhances readability and maintainability, enables abstraction, hiding complex logic behind simple calls. Function name, identifier for calling the function. Parameters, placeholders for input values. Function body, the block of code that runs when the function is called. Return statement, sends a result back to the caller. Using events to interact with users. Click events trigger actions when a user clicks elements like buttons. Keyboard events react to user keystrokes for form inputs or shortcuts. Timers run code after a delay or periodically using time-based events. Events enable dynamic interactivity by letting JavaScript respond instantly to user actions, enhancing user experience. Putting it all together, simple interactive example overview. Create an interactive button that changes a message when clicked using variables, functions, and events. Key concepts applied. Variables to store message text. Function to change the message. Click event to trigger the function. This example demonstrates how combining JavaScript fundamentals creates engaging web features. Users appreciate. Summary and next steps: 1. Master basics. Understand variables, operators, and control flow to build a strong foundation. 3.4.2 Practice writing functions. Create reusable code to improve efficiency and program structure. Explore events. Learn to make websites interactive by responding to user actions. Build projects. Apply concepts by constructing real web features and interactive apps. By following these steps, beginner programmers can confidently advance their JavaScript skills and start creating dynamic web experiences.